Hey guys, what's good? I hope you are all enjoying this beautiful day. And because it's such a beautiful day, I'll be bringing you guys a beautiful commentary. No, but really, on a more serious note, I do have a commentary for you guys right now, which is about the AS-VAL for Battlefield Play4Free. The AS-VAL is supplied for the Engineer class, and is a very unique weapon compared to all of the other submachine guns in Battlefield Play4Free. For those of you who play short-range recon class quite a bit, and want to switch classes but maintain the same playstyle, the AS-VAL is perfect because it is a sister gun to the VSS Venturas. Just like the Venturas, the AS-VAL has an integrated suppressor, making it a very good stealth weapon and difficult to pinpoint for potential enemies who can otherwise hear you if you're using a louder gun such as a shotgun or any other gun that does not have a suppressor. Also, like the VSS Venturas, it has a fairly high rate of fire compared to other weapons of its class. Tied with a FAMAS for having the fastest rate of fire of any of the weapons in Battlefield Play4Free, the AS-VAL sports a high RPM of 1,200, which is about 20 bullets per second. That, accompanied with the fact that the AS-VAL sports 24 bullets per magazine and 96 bullets total as a base gun, makes it so that it runs out of ammunition very quickly, and you need to watch that closely. So it is a good idea to choose your reload times wisely and take cover when you are doing so. The damage at close range for the AS-VAL is pretty decent, going between 23 and 25 damage. On medium range, the AS-VAL's damage is between 17 and 21, and at longer ranges it does drop down quite a bit to 10 to 12 damage. For short to medium ranges, that average damage is made up for by the extremely fast rate of fire of the gun. At longer ranges, where pop shots and burst shots have to be taken, one has to mind how they spend the bullets because you run out of ammo very quickly. The accuracy on the gun is pretty decent though, and does make up for that. So if one knows how to do burst shots and pop shots fairly efficiently and quickly, they can definitely manage some good long-range kills. The very fast rate of fire of the AS-VAL makes it so that the accuracy of the gun quickly diminishes, so burst shotting or pop shotting is also, again, very recommended for longer range combat. This same general rule of bullets becoming much less accurate after a few shots is also true with hip firing with this gun. In other words, don't try to spray too much with it, even if you are at close range. Try to aim down sight. Speaking of the sights, the iron sights of the AS-VAL are okay, but not phenomenal. Bringing the sights up is a very smooth animation and very quick, but the sights themselves are not very good for long-range combat. They are relatively flat, and they don't show up a whole lot, because it's about 3 little prongs, with the middle one obviously being the one you aim down, that are all very, very flat and short and stubby. So one can't really aim that well when they are in a dark environment, especially if the opposing player has dark clothes, and is therefore camouflaged with the environment even moderately well. Also, that makes it more difficult for longer range firefights, because it's difficult to distinguish where exactly those sights aim at. For that reason, I suggest either getting a red dot, a holographic sight, or a desert holographic sight, which are all fairly good with the weapon as long as one changes away from this iron sight, which really doesn't function that well, in my opinion. A useful thing about the AS-VAL is that it does not take up that much of one's screen really. When you're sprinting, it's barely visible. When you're aiming down sight, there's barely anything that's aiming above the iron sights. And just in general, it does not take up that much room on your screen. With the correct attachments to give it extra ammunition, this gun goes great with the lone wolf role because it provides great one-on-one combat support. It does great at short and medium ranges, but also is very effective at longer ranges, seeing that it takes about 10 body shots at longer ranges. It may not seem as though the AS-VAL is great for those types of situations. However, the recoil on it is quite good. It mainly goes up, but also goes a little bit to the side. However, Just in general, the recoil of the AS-VAL is very minimal, whether it be hip firing the gun or aiming down sight and then shooting it. Another great role the AS-VAL can be used with is with the vehicle driving engineer. For example, if you're using an APC, someone tosses some C4 on you, and you have to get up very quickly and kill that person at short range, it's very possible to do it with this gun. It's also very useful when trying to defend your vehicle from people who are trying to jack your tank or APC or any other vehicle. And of course it's also effective at longer ranges, so if you attach an M145 scope on here along with some damage boosting magazines or ammo, it's also very effective if you're trying to fight off a sniper or something. My personal favorite role for the AS-VAL is sticking with a rushing assault or a rushing medic and just letting them supply my health or ammunition, because that's generally what happens to rushers. They tend to lose ammo and health very quickly. However, I do like to go behind enemy lines sometimes on lone wolf AS-VAL rampages. For those of you who really like the engineer class and have only used the MP5, which a lot of people have only bought the MP5 just because it has such a cheap unlock price and is also quite an effective gun, I definitely suggest that this is an awesome weapon to try out, and it can definitely change up your game. In my opinion, it's one of the most practical guns in the game because it has a very fast rate of fire and is very effective at shorter and medium ranges due to that. However, it does run out of bullets really quickly, so you can only get in 1 or 2 kills at a time and not just be on a more supportive role like a medic who can take out large groups of enemies at medium ranges. For those of you who don't know, the AS-VAL has just recently been released with Viper Mags for a limited time bundle, which I suggest you to get. The Viper Mags are a great addition for the AS-VAL because they both increase ammo and also long range damage, which is the damage department it lacks the most in. Also, just as a personal opinion, it seems as if the intentions of this bundle are less for marketing purposes and actually just to increase people who are buying this weapon instead of the FAMAS and the Nemesis kit, which was a little bit too much in my opinion for marketing measures. That's about all it seemed like to me with that other kit. So as a final note, I suggest this gun to anyone who has the funds to get it because it's an interesting gun to use and it's definitely effective at all ranges, whether it be short range firepower, medium range semi-support role, or long range marksman style. As a quick question for you guys to mull over, do you prefer the AS-VAL or the G53? I don't have a preference yet because I haven't even tried the G53 yet, though I definitely really like the AS-VAL right now. Okay, that's all I have for now. Leave some suggestions, likes, feedback, just anything to keep this going. Oh yeah, and I needed some shoutouts, so definitely suggest weapons as much as you can. So on that note, see you all next time.